Hello, Saskia here, Devotional Goddess. Today I'm talking about our spark of uniqueness, our spark of God, however it is, our spark of divinity, however it is you relate to the divine essence all around us. It's especially important for us to acknowledge that we are unique. We are a part of God. We are a spark of God. And each of us as human beings holds that unique imprint, holds that stardust within us. And as amazing as AI is, that has its place. And the more that we continue to explore and stand in our own uniqueness and embody our own spark of God, our own stardust. Rewrite in your brain and translate the word God if God doesn't resonate with you. The importance is we are unique. We are made of stardust. There is nothing that compares to each of us. And the more we acknowledge our beauty, our uniqueness, our magnificence, the more we embody that, the more we will stay in balance on this planet. And the more we will give a place and a home to the AI. And this is what this balance is right now. How much energy are we giving to AI, even in the form of our phones? How much energy are we contributing and handing over the energy of ourselves to a device? And how much are we retreating back to ourselves and drawing inwards and looking for the answers within? There are many answers outside of us, but there are more answers to our burning questions that lie within. And this is one of these key tipping points that we are in our world at this point as we enter into the age of Aquarius. It is all about community, all about standing in our divine uniqueness and embodying our unique quirkiness, individuality, what each of us have to offer in order to keep this planet whole and in balance and thriving and healthy. Because as each of us stand in our own truth, embody who we are, make peace with who we are, create forgiveness and make peace with our past, all the karmas that we have built and that we are burning off, and start to live a life that is embodied, then we have less likelihood of building karma. Now we build karma when we are out of balance, and we create cause and effect. And when we are out of balance, we don't think as clearly. We're not connected to our divine essence. And we fall victim, which we do. We will. We're not ascended beings yet. We've got quite a way to go before we are ascended beings. But the more embodied we become, the more we begin to see who we are. We begin to witness our traits and our characteristics. And oh my gosh, yesterday I was beginning to feel like a victim. And I witnessed that in several moments of the day. I had a bit of a woe is me moment. And I was like, no, this isn't truth. Just breathe. Know that this is visiting. Honor it. And release it. and I let it go. But it kept coming back, and I needed to do that practice over and over again, like 4 or 5 times in the course of the day. Continuing to witness, oh, look at that, you're getting heavy again, you're feeling like a victim, you're feeling, this isn't happening for me. I was like, okay, that's all right. Come back. Come back to your breath, find your feet, find your grounding, come back into this moment. Find where the truth is. Right now, in this moment, you're safe, you're fine. There's nothing to worry about. And start to breathe. Focus on the work that you're doing at hand, rather than interpreting someone's look, or interpreting a conversation, or going back to a past conversation. All that outward projection was where I felt alone, or a victim, or whatever that emotion that was rising up within me. And I was witnessing that, and I was drawing it back in to myself to say, no, right here, right now, you are safe and well. Come back to your center. And that is a simplified practice, but one we can each do throughout the day. Now witness where these emotions come from. You may benefit from some counseling, some therapy, some coaching, however it looks, in order to cultivate, sometimes unpacking and sometimes cultivating that change in perspective. Because often there's an underlying trauma that needs to be revealed, brought to the surface and released. And sometimes when we do that, it doesn't have to be about reliving the trauma. I want to emphasize that. We don't always have to relive, and often we don't even have to relive the trauma in order to release it. So know that that is possible. But as we do so going back to the example yesterday that I had when I felt a victim and when I felt lonely, when I felt whatever the emotions came up, if I had responded to my environment from that wounded place and lashed out at someone or said, look what you're doing to me, or, had a reaction to my outside world, I would have been creating more karma because I've created more cause and effect to what I've put out. What I put out has sent a ripple effect out into the community that I was with at that time. And then therefore that would create a response back from somebody else. And it could have been something that was continually perpetuated from that point on, or it could have been resolved in that moment. There are a myriad of options of how it could have moved forwards from that point. But I kept it contained because I was aware that it originated from me and that it was something that I had control over and that I had the power within me to witness, to hold, and to transform and release. And this is what we have the opportunity to do. And in doing so, we continue to transform and evolve. And there's simple, small steps like that we can use to empower ourselves and to change our perspective of the moment and to change the day. And in doing so, we're either keeping our karma scales neutral, and sometimes we're releasing the karma because we're releasing our old habits and tendencies that we have had in the past. Now I share all this because that is an example of how each of us can step into our power and step into our inner perspective, our inner world, and reconnect to our inner world when we're feeling the influences of the outer world that make us feel vulnerable, that make us feel afraid, unsteady. And we have more control over how the outer world impacts us and influences us than we realize. And this is a practice that we can cultivate. If you wish to have extra guidance, reach out, book a session. It will be my honor to work with you. But it is a constant willingness to change, to evolve, to become more self-empowered. And as we do so, we stake our place here on this planet. We stand here, and as we teach in our 200-hour yoga teacher training, we learn to stand strong and say, I am here for the whole world to see. Fearless, embodied in who we are, and able to hold the vastness of who we are, or able to cultivate holding the vastness of who we are. Because we are so much more than we are truly aware of at any moment in time. And as we embody more of who we are, we have less desire, less pull, less interest in being captivated by the reels and the information that these cell phones have been created to engage us with. They're so helpful, so convenient, but often they are all consuming and taking us away of who we are as divine, unique beings. And by standing in our truth, discovering who we are, becoming more empowered in who we are as human beings, we begin to have less need and less desire for these devices. And we keep them in check, we keep them in balance, so that they have the appropriate place in our lives. And they serve the purpose for which serves us. And we make that conscious choice rather than going on autopilot and just sitting there and looking and looking and looking and being drawn in. Because everything that we receive and everything that we take in starts to build a layer in our consciousness. It starts to inform us on a subconscious layer. So it starts to tell our children it's okay to behave like this. It's okay to be childish. It's okay to do a practical joke that may harm another. It's okay to, and the list goes on and on and on. And we start to lose our own discernment because we begin to be informed by the outside world what is acceptable. And sometimes it's just a trend at this time, and really on a moral and human compass, it might not be ethically right for the world, for ourselves, and for your unique being. So we cultivate our discernment by coming closer and checking in with who we are. And this is important. This is what is going to keep AI in its place in the world to benefit humanity, but not take over. What choice will you make? From my own experience, discovering who I am is the most joyful, the most empowering, sometimes the most uncomfortable, sometimes the most scary, But the empowerment of this journey overrides the fear or that temporary discomfort. And that's what keeps me seeking. That's what keeps me going. Because if I look back on who I was and how little I thought of myself, the value that I had for myself was so minimal, and how I see what I have to offer, who I am within me now. And yet there's still so much more to discover. I'm never going to be at the end point because I'm so much bigger than I could ever imagine. The essence of who I am is so much more magnificent than I can ever imagine. But I'm looking forward to that journey of continuing to discover and embody more of myself. And I hope this sparks interest, excitement, joy within you, so that you too can continue to grow and evolve on this beautiful planet, this beautiful home that we have. Many, many blessings. Namaste. And thank you for visiting. If there's anything here that you think would benefit anybody else, please do share, subscribe, and like it, and send me a message if it inspires you.